My wife went to the party against my will and disappeared years later. She showed up at my door. Welcome everyone to the Read It Journey channel, always shocking stories, but first leave your like if you subscribe to the channel, comment, share this video, or with more people who like shocking stories like this. Let's go to the story. First story. The doorbell rang when I went to see who it was. I didn't want to answer it, but I felt obliged. Her arrival deeply interrupted my concentration while I was watching my favorite program on TV. My curiosity reached its peak. I got up from where I was sitting and went to the door, looking through the peephole. I wondered how she had managed to find me. I thought about going back to the TV and ignoring the doorbell, but I realized that if she had taken the trouble to find me, she wouldn't leave until she got what she came for. I hooked up the safety seat and then I opened the door wide enough for us to see each other. Then I said, "What you want to talk to you about?" That's not how I left, making it clear that I had no interest in seeing you again, much less talking to you. I have no idea why you left. I got home and you had disappeared. You didn't leave a letter explaining why. I saw that all your things were gone. But you can't be serious. How could you not know? Because I know that you listened to me when I told you what would happen if you did what you were planning to do. Can I come in? I thought it would be better to get this over with quickly, and I undid the lock. I walked away, and she came in, sat on the couch, and asked me for a glass of water. She went to the party because my friend asked me to go with him. He started working recently, so few people know him. He asked me to go with him to the party, Sylvia's birthday party. Because I didn't want to go alone. He knows that you're married, right? That doesn't matter. Nothing will happen between us. Besides, I don't want to go to Sylvia's party alone and you refuse to go with me. So I told my friend that I would go with him because he was also invited and didn't have any company. You understand why I'm not going. I hate being around that woman with a dubious reputation. Besides, I don't want you to have any contact with her. Accept it, San. She's been my best friend since first grade, and I'm not going to abandon her just because you don't like her. I don't like her because she's been divorced 4 times, and always because she was caught flirting with her husband, and I don't like going to her parties because of the drugs she has there. So you think that just because she cheated, I'm also going to cheat just for being around her. Now that you mentioned it, I think that's fine. Possibly you are dressed in a provocative black dress getting ready for a date with another man. It is obvious that you got ready for him, and I can only think of one reason why you would dress so provocatively for him. And that is absurd to say to me. No, it is not what you wore to Sylvia's last 2 parties. I will remind you in case you forgot. You wore pants and a blouse on one, jeans and a sweater to the other party. I have no doubt why you are dressed that way for this party. Sylvia has finally convinced you to try something new. I know from snippets of conversations I have seen that she has been pressuring you to attend her intimate parties for years. I think she finally got what she wanted. You are wrong. It is not that easy to prove that. I am wrong. Don't go, stay here with me. I can't. Tom is counting on me, and he is more important to you than I am. All I can say, Alice, is that if you go, you'll be saying goodbye to our marriage. Don't be silly. It won't hurt us. Don't wait up for me, she said, as she walked out the door. Goodbye, Alice, I said, as she walked out. I think she caught the forever tone of my goodbye. She hesitated for a moment, then she left. I exaggerated. I didn't think so. I was friends with many of the guys in Sylvia's social circle. Through them, I learned about everything that went on at her parties. After the people who didn't want to go, the parties turned into orgies. I heard that even though Alice didn't go, she stayed and watched. I also heard that Sylvia said, "Alice, forget that straight-laced guy you're married to and join us. You know you want to." Alice always said, "Yes, I do. But I wouldn't do anything less. I would never go. Participate." I spent hours trying to have a conversation with Alicia to move away from Sylvia and stop going to her parties, but I never managed because of that inseparable friendship. I spent a good part of the night thinking about what to do. I considered divorce, but I really didn't know what to do. I'm confused. If Alice brings me, I couldn't continue with her. I want everything to explode. I need to take action. I had years that I thought were wonderful with her. The only thing that made me uncomfortable was the time I was spending time with Sylvia, a person I couldn't tolerate. She was worthless to me, and Alice knew that. You might wonder why, knowing so much about what went on at Sylvia's parties, I never confronted Alice directly. The answer was simple, at least for me. I needed to know if Alice would cheat on me. If she had any intention of cheating on me, I would confront her about Sylvia's parties and her stated desire to attend. She would simply walk away from those parties and do it somewhere else, at a different time and place. I might never find out if she cheated on me somewhere else, but if she did, there would be people at Sylvia's house who would tell me. I hadn't decided yet what to do. When I went to bed, the phone ringing next to my bed woke me up. When I sat up, I saw the time on the alarm clock. I wondered who was calling me. At 1 a.m, hello, idiot, I woke you up. What do you want, Sylvia? I just called to let you know that your wife finally found a real man. What the hell are you talking about, and exactly what I said? Alice has found a real man, a man who can give her what she really needs here. Listen. And reluctantly, I listened as the sounds of intimacy filled the phone, and then I heard, "Oh my God. Yes, please, take me loudly." The voice was unmistakably that of my wife. I hung up the phone 30 seconds later. It rang again. I already knew who it would be, so I picked up the receiver and dropped it on the floor. One of the advantages of living in an apartment is that you don't accumulate a lot of stuff due to lack of space. In a little over an hour, I had already packed everything I needed and put it in the truck. I was at a motel by 3 a.m, and at the bank when the doors opened at 9, I withdrew all the money from the accounts and then went to my work. I told Jake that I was leaving without notice and explained why. He said he understood, gave me my last check, helped carry my tools, said I could use it as a reference, and wished me good luck. My phone had been ringing since 7, and all the calls were from Alice. I finally turned the phone off and decided I needed a new number. Then I changed my mind. I didn't know if Alice could get the new number from the carrier. I decided to throw the phone in the trash and buy a track phone at Walmart. I didn't have to do anything with the credit cards. Since Alice and I didn't have joint cards, she had 2 in her name, and I had 3 in mine by 10. I was on the road heading to a destination I hadn't decided yet. I just knew it needed to be far away from Alice. I ended up in Castle Rock, Colorado. I got a job in my field and started my new life. If there was a divorce, Alice would have to start the process. If I did, she would know where I was. After a year, she could claim abandonment as the reason. The only downside to that was that I would never know. But that didn't really matter. I had no plans to get married again. The next 2 years went by and life was great. I went out with a few people. I had a friend with benefits. And now I know that you listened to me when I said what would happen if you went out on that date. You ignored me. You went on the date and I did what I promised. How did you find out? I hired a very expensive private investigator. Why did you bother? You're my husband. The motto is that wherever you go, I'll go and stuff. Like, how did you get the money to pay for an expensive private investigator with your secretary's salary? You sold the house, that house. I got in the divorce. She started asking me about the divorce and the house, but I stopped myself. It didn't make any difference anyway. You wasted your money and the time it took to get here because we are over. You did exactly what I knew you would do when you left for that party, so don't waste your time trying to tell me nothing happened. Your best friend the witch called me at 1 a.m. and held the phone so I could hear what you were doing. You were having sex with a guy who is part of your friend's brothel. She made me listen to how you intimately enjoyed yourself with your lover or lovers. Your "oh God, yes, take me, please" hard. That's how I heard you speak. I know your voice. Don't try to fool me. Very clearly, and said it all. She was successful. Maybe she should have sought revenge with more determination. I think I need to tell you what happened since you weren't there to see or hear. I didn't go to the party with the intention of being seduced. That was far from my mind. I think maybe I dressed a little too much for the occasion. But Sylvia specifically asked for some reason she didn't like Todd. Or at least that's what she said. But she couldn't stop him from going to the party, because the invitation was open to everyone in the office. She asked me to dress provocatively, make Todd think he would be successful. I like to dress well. So I did this. Todd saw me and thought he was in luck that night. He stuck to me like he couldn't let me out of his sight, for fear that someone else might win me over. It was a fun party. And although Todd was always around, I think other men found me attractive. I danced with several of them. When the party was ending, I started to feel dizzy and lightheaded. Sylvia thought I had drunk too much and made me lie down in one of her guest rooms. I don't know exactly how or when it started, but little by little I realized I was being abused. I thought I was at home in bed with you, until I heard someone say, "Hurry up, I'm next." I looked around and saw Sylvia with Todd and several other men around without clothes. Apparently one of them was next in line. You know, me San. You know how I get when we're together. I lose control. I become just an object of pleasure. I don't know how many had relations with me before I passed out. I woke up the next morning next to Bob Fligg. He was propped up on one elbow looking at me. I saw the expression on his face and asked what happened. "I never thought you would cheat on San Mas." "I'm glad you did. I hope to see more of you," he said. I immediately slapped him in the face. I got dressed and went to the hospital. I told them I thought I had been drugged. They did the tests and found traces of RN and ecstasy in my blood. And then they called the police while I was waiting for the police. I tried to call you but got no answer, I found out, because I couldn't reach you when I got home and found you had left. When the police talked to me, I know what I knew and what I could remember. The first one they questioned was Flanagan, and he said he had no idea I had been drugged, and that he didn't think twice about taking me, because that was what always happened at Sylvia's parties. And I knew that, and I even watched him. He said he thought I had finally decided to try it. He gave them the names of all the men he knew who had done it to me that night. The police suspected that Todd was involved in what happened to me that night when they pressed him. He ended up confessing that it was all Sylvia's fault. She just knew I really wanted to participate, so she decided to encourage me. She thought that once the effect of the drug wore off, I would still like it and want to do it again. She was right about that. I did like it. But where she went wrong was not paying attention to the fact that I had repeatedly told her I wouldn't participate without you. You had to agree to this, or I wouldn't do it. After I got out of the hospital and the police station, I was taken home by a police officer. It was then that I found out why they never answered my calls. I was devastated. I cried for 2 days and decided to hire a lawyer to sue everyone at that party who did this to me. Most of the lawsuits were dismissed because they all said the same thing that Flanagan had said. But the lawsuits against Sylvia and Todd were valid because they both conspired against me. I won my lawsuits, but Sylvia only had her house, so they offered me this as a settlement. She still owed $30,000. But with what I got from Todd, I was able to pay, and then I sold the house. After I got the money from the sale of the house, I hired a private detective, and here I am. And you wasted your money on the private detective and the time it took to coming here for what to reconcile us. I love you, and I belong to you. You would have been smart to spend your money on a lawyer to get a divorce. You could have used abandonment as a reason. I do not want a divorce. What you want or don't want doesn't matter. But to me, Alice, I didn't do this willingly. San, I was drugged. But you walked out the door willingly, even after I told you that if you walked out that door, you were throwing our marriage away. Well, you ignored what I said and walked out that door again. The way I left should have shown you that you were wasting your time and money coming here. I have to be here. If I am going to rebuild our relationship, you're not paying any more attention to what I'm saying now than you did the night you walked out of me. Pay attention, Alice. I don't want you. You can't reconcile us because I don't emphasize I don't want to go back to a woman who could do what you did. Damn, San. You can't understand that I didn't do it of my own free will. I was drugged. You are the one who doesn't understand things. Alice, that's not what happened at Sylvia's house. Although I expected it to happen, I warned you it was likely to happen. That's what you did before you walked out the door to go to Sylv's house. It was the total disrespect for me that you showed before you left for your date, whether or not it's ridiculous if it won't affect us. As you walked out the door to go out with another man, it killed any love that existed between us that could have withstood. My girlfriend just got in. Then she saw Alice and asked, "Who's this?" "This is Alice. You've heard me mention her once or twice." "Alice, this is Beverly." Beverly surprised Alice by coming over, bent down to give her a hug and say thank you for sending the sun to me, and then turned to me and asked if I was ready for dinner. I thought we could go out. I made reservations at Angelo's. I'm going to go change. It was nice meeting you, Alice. Maybe we can meet and share stories sometime. And then she headed to the bedroom. You need to leave now, Alice. I have to get ready for dinner. She knows you're still married. You know, you need to tell her that I'll fight for you. Let's be honest, Alice, for you to fight for me, you would need to spend time with me. And that's just not going to happen. Get a divorce and find another man. And when you do, don't do to him what you did to me. Tears were streaming down her face when she said, "Damn sane. Why don't you understand that I didn't cheat on you? I was drugged, and then you had to be there to be drugged, and that's what matters. I told you not to go. I told you if you walked out the door, you would be ending your marriage. You ignored me. You left the marriage as over, simple ass. Yes, now please get out of my sight. I have a dinner to prepare for. I'm not divorcing you, San, and you need to tell your girlfriend that that's not going to happen. She'll never be able to marry you. She can't marry me. She is already married and is in the same situation as me. Her husband is not going to get a divorce, and she is not going to spend money trying to get one. I am going to leave, but not too far. I can't get you back from a distance. So I am moving here. I am going to get you back. No, Alice, you are not going. I have said this several times, and you need to understand once and for all that I am serious. I don't want you anymore. Now go." She was crying, but she left. B came into the room and seemed very happy, because you are not ready. You decided not to go. Not only. It took me longer to get rid of her than I thought. She left forever. I should have made it clear to her that I do not want anything more to do with her. That is good, because I do not intend to let you get away from me. I smiled and said, "Give me a few minutes, and I will be ready to leave." Guys from Red, thank you very much for support in this delicate moment of my life. Thank you for the supportive comments. I didn't want to know about Alice anymore. I took the liberty of selling our house because due to her infidelity, I felt I had the right to keep the house because I wouldn't give up something I built with effort for an immoral woman who never had any respect for me. But soon the divorce will happen. I am sharing comments here from the Red community. Once again, my thanks comment. A congratulations for the firm attitude op. You are doing what is best for you after a difficult situation. There is no problem in prioritizing your well-being and staying firm in your principles. Continue to focus on taking care of yourself during this process. We are here to support you. Comment from, I am sorry for what you are going through, but I am happy that you are making decisions that give you peace of mind. Selling the house can be difficult, but it is important to stay focused on your own future. Good luck with your divorce. I hope everything works out in the best possible way. Reply to comment 1. Thank you for your support and encouraging words. It was a difficult decision, but I am determined to move forward with integrity and take care of myself. It means a lot to know that I have the support of the community at this time. Reply to comment 2. I appreciate your kind words. It is comforting to know that I am doing what is best for my peace of mind. Selling the house was difficult, but I am focused on my future. Thank you for your good luck, and I hope everything works out in the best possible way too. If you liked the video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with other people who like stories like this. Also, watch other videos on the channel with themes that will be impactful and moving, that will leave you thinking. Thank you for watching the video until the end.